Hi, folks. I just listened to some music, some older music from the 80s. And yeah, thinking as you do sometimes when you listen to older stuff, that you think about where you were at that time, or around that time. And sometimes you think about who you were with. And sometimes you have that romantic idea that, maybe you should have married that person. Well, I had that just now. And then I realized, no, actually, whoever I'd have married, that relationship could never have worked. Never. There was no chance at all. Now I'm in a position where I'm more ready for that because I understand who I am and why I am, and I understand what I need and what I'm looking for. I understand about honesty and truth. And, well, again, I was up the area playing with the doggies, hitting the ball for them, and lost the ball briefly. Found it in the end, but lost it briefly. Dogs were looking, and a man and his daughter come down. So I was talking to them and talking to the man, and I said to him, "You're married, yes?" He went, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." I said, "Be honest in all things with your wife." I said, because I've said this so many times, and people just do not understand that if she says, "Does my bum look big in this?" If it does, say yes. Because if she knows that you're going to be truthful at times like that, even when her feelings might be hurt a tiny bit, when it really matters, because it will. If you're married, right? The reality is, I don't go into all the detail, not this, what I'm saying now, but if you're married, if you're a man and you're married and you have children, you have a family, there are an awful lot of single women that could desire you. They want you. That's why so many men have affairs, because there's so many single women that want what that wife has. They want a husband. They want a husband. So therefore, they want, if you're a good husband, they want you. And that's where, and it's more the case if you're a celebrity, if you're one off. If you're a celebrity or well off, therefore you've got money, position, and a degree of power, even more they want you. Right? You're a good husband, a good father, and you got money and position. Yeah. Yeah. You are now exactly what most young women would die for. That's what they desire, to have exactly that. And some, they have no problem trying to take that from another woman. No problem at all. No. The idea of taking that from another woman, they go, no. They don't care. They would be happy enough to do that because why do they care? They win if they get the husband and the father. And if you can be that sort of husband to them and that sort of father to your children with her, then she wins, doesn't she? The problem is you can't be. The reason, if you're a good husband and a good father, that's partly down to the person you're married to. It's not just you. So, so therefore, when women see that, they think it's just the men. They do not understand that the wife helps him to be a good husband, the same as a husband helps the wife to be a good wife. Right? Yeah. That's the point. So now I know all of that. And now I've said on videos, and I've been absolutely spot on videos in this point, that I now would have no fear. If I marry a woman and she decides she'd rather be with someone else, okay, bye-bye. It would be as simple as, okay, bye-bye. But again, that's why if I get married, it will need to be with a woman that's strong enough to understand that that's the case. And it's not me saying that I don't think she's worth anything. It's okay. If you're supposed to be in my life, you will be. If you're not, then you won't. Right? I understand that. If you're supposed to be in my life for a time, then you will be for that time, and then you'll be gone. And that's okay. So if you decide you want to go, I have to take that as you were supposed to be in my life for a certain amount of time. Now you're going to be gone. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah. That's the point. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, because again, it's better to have someone for 5 years than to have no one at all, because that person's going to enhance your life for that 5 years. You're going to enhance theirs. You're going to have experiences you couldn't have had just on your own. So therefore, if it's only going to be 5 years, okay. With these dogs, I was scared of losing them. I was scared of Molly, Chewy, Lucy, Amber, and Riley dying. So that's why I had so many in the end. That's why I kept their pups. Because then when they died, I would have to look after their pups. So I would have something to focus on to help me. That was my plan on how to deal with that. And then God said, you never had to worry, because you wouldn't have them long enough for them to die with you. Well, but then he taught me about, loss through that. And taught me about the fact that having them for as long as I had them was beautiful. And that was the point. That was the point, to have them for that long. Yeah. Because that is the point. It always is the point, to have them for that long. Yeah. And they were an absolute blessing. They really were an absolute blessing. Every single one of them, in different ways. An absolute blessing. And so therefore, yeah, that was the case with them. I had them for a time, and only for a time. Yeah. And then, yeah, they were gone. Now, it doesn't mean that would happen with a wife, but it does mean that I have to understand that could that happen? Look, I'm not going to let the SSPCA come and take my wife away, but things can happen. You understand that? But the point of it is that if things happen, you focus on what you had, because that's the point. You enjoy what you've got. You enjoy the moments because, you understand you don't necessarily have forever. Most people in relationship don't enjoy the moments because they don't focus on that point that they might not have forever. So they should focus on every moment they can. So, yeah. Am I more ready now than I was? Yes. But I know that absolutely in the past I was not. I had to go with what I went through. I had to go through that after I left them in order to be ready. So only since that point have I been in a position where I've been ready myself, or more ready, more able to. So certainly since they went, would I have been in a position where, had I got married, could it have worked? Yes. Yes. Yeah. But that's more the case now than it was just after they left. Yes. But it would have worked just after, because I learned. I was already on the path. Already my path had changed. Although again, had it? I don't. But it was moving on to me being, learning to walk as a son and doing all of that. So yeah. Now, exactly what's supposed to happen in the future, I don't know. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. This video is not saying I'm looking for a wife or that I'm advertising for it. No, no. It's simply sharing that point that quite often when we listen to old music, we can think back at where we were and also with who we were with. And the reality is, we can think about those people and think about, oh, if we just chose them and we just went with them instead of, our lives could have been better. No, 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 no. I don't believe I was supposed to be with someone that I never actually ended up being with. If I was supposed to be with someone, then I still will be. It would be that actual person that I end up marrying. So there's no point ever thinking about it from that point of view. So, yes. But music, oh, yeah. Older stuff, fantastic, wonderful, beautiful. All of it just beautiful. Taking you back to that. Style Council, You're the Best Thing was the one I just listened to. Again, absolutely incredibly beautiful song. Stunning. Yeah. It just has something in the end that is just wow. It has a wow factor. It just is amazing, beautiful, fantastic. Not most of the songs. Well, some of the songs. Anyway, you take care. God bless.